The Glass Horizon Chronicles, Part 3, The Custodians. Elara Vey had become more than a scientist, she was now a symbol, a reluctant oracle whose words carried across fractured skies. The fracture wars had scarred humanity, leaving erased cities and broken alliances, yet the listeners, ordinary people who believed in restraint, had kept her message alive. Still, the fractures multiplied, humming louder, resonating with a frequency that gnawed at the edges of sanity. It was then that the beings of light returned, not as mourners or messengers but as judges. They revealed their origin in a vision that seared itself into Elara's mind. They were not gods, not saviors, but survivors. Their universe had collapsed centuries ago, consumed by wounds they had failed to heal. They had wandered through the void, carrying fragments of memory, searching for worlds that might avoid their fate. Humanity was not the first they had warned, but perhaps the last that could still listen. The beings named Elara a custodian, a title heavy with responsibility. She was tasked not with leading armies or commanding nations, but with guiding restraint, with teaching humanity that survival meant listening to the hum of reality itself. Yet even as she accepted, she knew the burden was unbearable. Custodianship was not power, it was sacrifice. The exploiters did not relent. They saw the beings as manipulators, as interlopers who sought to chain humanity's progress. Propaganda spread across networks. Accusations that Elara was a puppet, that the fractures were opportunities, not wounds. Rogue factions opened new tunnels, bleeding into alien skies, and for the first time hostile civilizations answered. Ships of iron and plasma emerged from fractures, drawn by the scent of instability, and humanity faced enemies it had never imagined. Elara stood again in the glass horizon, the corridor of stars, and listened. The hum was deafening now, a chorus of unraveling threads. She realized the fractures were not only wounds but mirrors, reflecting humanity's choices back upon itself. Every act of exploitation deepened the cracks, every act of restraint slowed them. The beings of light did not command, they observed, waiting to see if humanity could learn. The listeners grew stronger, forming networks across continents and stations. They dismantled illegal labs, sabotaged weapons built from fracture energy, and carried Elara's words into the darkest corners of war. They were not soldiers but custodians, guardians of fragility. Yet the exploiters struck back, unleashing chaos in orbit, collapsing tunnels deliberately to weaponize erasure. Whole fleets vanished, timelines twisted, and shadows walked backward across battlefields. In the midst of this chaos, Elara made her choice. She would not fight with weapons, nor with politics. She would fight with resonance. She built a device, a vast harmonic engine, designed not to open fractures but to listen to them, to amplify their hum until all of humanity could hear. When activated, the sound spread across Earth and its stations, a low, mournful vibration that shook bones and hearts alike. People wept, generals faltered, corporations hesitated. For the first time, the fractures spoke to everyone. The wars slowed, not ended, but slowed. The listeners gained ground, the exploiters lost allies, and humanity stood at a precipice. Elara knew this was only the beginning. Custodianship was not a victory but a vigil, a constant watch against ambition and arrogance. She had become the last listener, the one who heard the hum most clearly, but she knew others must follow. The beings of light watched, their prisms flickering with cautious hope. They had seen universes collapse before, but perhaps this time would be different. Humanity was scarred, stubborn, divided, yet still listening. The horizon was glass, and though cracks spread across its surface, it had not yet shattered. And in the silence after the hum, Elara whispered to herself, "We are not conquerors. We are custodians, and the universe is listening."